Polyamory is a non-monogamous relationship style where people mutually agree to have multiple physically intimate or romantic relationships. Monogamy, or the practice of having only one romantic or physically intimate partner, is the most practiced type of relationship style in the United States. However, according to statistics, roughly 8 to 10% of the population practices polyamory. It's a form of consensual non-monogamy in which a person is involved with multiple romantic or physically intimate partners. And although millions of people across the world and around the country are in consensual polyamorous relationships, there's still a significant misunderstanding of what polyamory means and what these relationships entail. And this misunderstanding often leads to a stigma, a negative or discriminatory attitude against people in these types of relationships. I'll share with you what you need to know about polyamory, including the different types of polyamorous relationships, how to establish healthy boundaries in polyamory. Polyamory is a form of ethical, consensual non-monogamy that involves having a romantic or physically intimate relationship with multiple partners at the same time. Ethical or consensual non-monogamy describes relationships in which all parties are aware of and consent to practice non-monogamy. Consent is crucial in ethical non-monogamy. One of the most important parts of being polyamorous is making sure that you and any romantic or physically intimate partner you have are aware of and consenting to the relationship you have with them and others. Polyamory can look different from person to person. Each relationship is unique and can be designed in any way that feels right and resonates to everyone involved. There are common terms used to describe not only the different styles of polyamory relationships that a person can have, but also the different types of people involved. Hierarchical polyamory involves a hierarchical system that includes primary and secondary partners. Primary partners take priority over other partners or relationships. This often describes partners who are married, living together, or have families together. Primary partners can form additional secondary relationships, but these relationships do not have the same level of priority that the primary relationship does. Non-hierarchical polyamory does not involve a ranking of partners, which means that every relationship or partner, whilst unique, is viewed equally. So someone in this type of polyamorous relationship with multiple partners would consider these partners equal, even if the relationships all function differently. Polyfidelity is a type of non-hierarchical polyamory in which there are no ranking as partners. However, in this type of relationship, the partners are all exclusive to one another and are not seeking or open to new relationships. Polyfidelity often includes two common relationship types. A triad. This describes relationships in which three people are physically intimate or romantically involved with each other, also known as a throuple. Quad. This describes a relationship in which four people are in a romantic or physically intimate relationship together. V, which comes from the letter V, describes a relationship in which one partner has two separate romantic or physically intimate partners. Unlike a triad, in which all three individuals are in the relationship together, the partners of the shared person in the V are not involved with each other. And there's solo poly. Whilst there is no set definition for solo poly, it often is used to describe multiple types of polyamorous people, such as those who are single and identify as polyamorous, sometimes called single poly, those who are in casual or committed polyamorous relationships but choose to live alone, those who are in a polyamorous relationship and don't live alone but still prioritize themselves or their own needs. When someone is solo poly, whether single, dating, or otherwise, the primary focus of their major life decisions is themselves, rather than the relationship. Monopoly relationships describe a type of relationship in which someone who is monogamous is in a relationship with someone who is polyamorous. This is also sometimes called hybrid relationship. In this type of relationship, the person who is polyamorous may decide to follow any type of polyamorous lifestyle, whilst the monogamous partner does not. But communication and consent with their monogamous partner is still essential. This relationship can be healthy if both partners are getting their needs met. But it can also become codependent when taken as a step to save a relationship, whereas one partner has a history of cheating. Some monogamous find that they don't care to date anyone else, that they don't mind their partner dating. It all comes down to personal preferences. Different polyamorous lifestyles may have different boundaries. Polywebs, also called polyfamilies, describe people who are all connected through polyamorous lifestyles. People who are part of a polyweb or polyfamily aren't always necessarily romantically involved with each other. Sometimes they're simply connected through their various partners. Polywebs may sometimes live together or near each other, and they may share household duties, like a sister wife. This setup is popular in the queer community, a chosen family for people estranged from their biological family. Now, polyamory and polygamy are vastly different. Polyamory involves the idea of navigating and consenting to multiple simultaneous relationships. Polyamory encompasses a wide range of types of people with many different religions, backgrounds, political views, and interests. Polygamy, on the other hand, is the practice of having multiple spouses, and unlike polyamory, which focuses on being an equitable form of non-monogamy, polygamy isn't always as such. Polygamy often has a religious or cultural motivation to it, and it is often not equitable for everyone involved. For example, polygamy, the most common form of polygamy, involves one man having multiple wives. This is usually an inequitable relationship, as the wives are not able or allowed to take on other partners, and it can have other inequitable aspects to it as well. Of course, that's not to say that polygamy can't be consensual or equitable non-monogamy, but ultimately, polygamy and polyamory are two separate lifestyles that can't necessarily be compared. Just to clarify, unlike any other relationship, polyamorous relationships work best when partners can establish rules and boundaries that work for everyone. And that starts with discussing everything openly and honestly. There are three main components to consider when doing this in relationships. Firstly, it's important to identify everyone's thoughts, feelings, and values. Secondly, it's necessary to be able to communicate those thoughts, feelings, and values with each other. And thirdly, it's crucial to be able to communicate these things with an open mind and without judgment. These components are difficult when discussing intense topics, but are important skills for every person in polyamorous or monogamous relationships. If this is something you're experiencing difficulties with in your relationships, there's no shame in reaching out for help. If necessary, seeking a poly-friendly therapist or coach can be helpful to build these skills. I am here to assist. Contact me through my site.